It's the wave that takes you out when you're not looking. It's the coyote you come across when you're hiking. Who doesn't care if you're a good or bad person? You're either a threat or you're food. There's a lot of indifference in nature that I feel like people don't pay a lot of attention to.
Well, hey everybody, welcome back.
Hey everyone.
I'm Logan.
And I'm Nicole.
And this is Generation X Paranormal. Guys, it's getting springy.
It is getting springy.
Springtime is among us. And we know it's spring because right now outside there is a wonderful thunderstorm.
Rainstorm, thunderstorm.
Yeah. So if you hear anything, we apologize, but no, we're happy to see it come and
need some rain.
Need some rain. Hope that we are leaving the frozen tundra of December, January, and February. Guys, I'm originally from Arizona and California. I'm not
He doesn't do well.
Yeah, I don't do this cold stuff very well. But it's getting to be springtime. And since it is going to be springtime, that leads us right into our guest.
Yeah.
And we have Kasey Fallon on.
Yeah. And if you don't remember, she was one of 3 guests when we had her on speaking about their novel that came out. And now she's got a new one, and it's all about spring.
Yes.
But a scary spring. It's a scary spring. And she's got a new book called A Terror Triptych, Ostara. Okay. And it has to do with pagan and nature, and we're going to get into that with her. So let's talk to Kasey.
Let's talk to Kasey. Well, hey, Kasey, welcome back to Generation X Paranormal.
Hey, guys. How's it going? It's great to be back.
We are doing good. Thank you.
So happy to have you back.
Absolutely. Apparently, I missed the memo on what to wear.
You did.
And for those of you listening on the show, Kasey and Nicole have chosen to wear maroon. And I did not.
No, you wore blue.
No, I wore blue. So I feel really, really odd. I'm the odd man out. That's okay.
It's okay.
Yeah, we're just going to trudge forward. I'll be okay. I'll take it.
We had a secret meeting beforehand.
It's going to be okay.
We did.
We're on a women's wavelength here.
Yes.
And that's okay. I respect that. But listen, you've been on the show before, and it was awesome to have you here. But for our listeners who may not be familiar, what exactly is Terror Triptych, and what makes that series unique?
Yeah, so the Terror Triptych is a series of short horror collections that I started a couple years ago, and the third one is coming out this month, Ostara, based on the equinox of spring and spring horror. The other 2 books are DID, which does not in fact stand for dissociative identity, but disillusion, insanity, and death. And so each story goes into one of those. And I'm certain I've got... There we go. And you guys love Ireland anyway. So
yes,
we do.
So this was DID.
Nice.
Okay, nice.
So,
yeah.
And then this one, I loved Ireland so much. And I also love the series you guys did on it.
Oh,
so all the dark tours and everything that I went on, I loved it so much. I brought it home and I turned it into a book.
That's awesome.
Funny how we do that.
Yeah, I know.
We bring it home and turn it into something.
Yeah, we're doing our version of the book. You know, kind of what we do, which is, it's awesome. Yeah, Ireland
changes you for sure.
There's something that happens out there. I've told people who have asked me, what was it like? I'm like, I can't explain it. It's just...
You got to go.
It is. You got to go.
You got to go.
Yeah. But the new book, Terror Triptych, Ostara, now it comes out on March 20th. And I think I know the answer to this question, but is that intentional?
Yes, it was. First day of spring. Happy spring.
Yeah.
Have some nightmares.
Listen, the only nightmare I'm happy to put in the rearview mirror is snow and ice, and I'm done with that.
Spring can bring them too with thunderstorms, and we've actually got a thunderstorm going on right now.
Yeah,
outside.
Do.
So with that comes, especially being in the Midwest, we get some
crazy weather
storms. Yes,
we do.
Yes,
it's a little scary. Mm-hmm. But the tagline for the book is "Spring when everything blooms and bleeds."
Yeah.
So that is an interesting.
I love it.
It's pretty cool. It's beautifully unsettling in a very cool way.
That's what I'm here for. Beautifully unsettling.
Beautifully unsettling. But what inspired that line?
So, spring, we have been conditioned to believe, not incorrectly, but that spring is all things blooming and rebirth and things revisited, and not necessarily everything that blooms or that comes back is good for you.
That's true.
There are a lot of themes throughout the book. Spring being traditionally associated with the rebirth, fertility, hope. But birth, a lot of people don't talk about. Birth isn't pretty. It can be vicious. It can kill you. And it's always bloody. Mm-hmm. And nobody talks about that much. Yeah. I mean,
true.
Probably a reason. Most people would be like, I'm not signing up to have children. I knew about this.
No, we would never do it.
No.
Having been a medic and seeing that live and in person, it is it is a sight to behold for just the people there. Yeah. I could not imagine the person and the soul going through it. It's one of those where I it's logged in this brain somewhere, and I go, that is really it's brutal, and it's just
it's violent.
Yeah. But it's human. I mean, it's how we come
nature.
To be. Yeah.
It is. It is. That's what Ostara is about. It's nature horror. It's, the fact that, a lot of things rise or return, but maybe coming back wrong. That nature can be indifferent to humanity. It's the wave that takes you out when you're not looking. It's the coyote you come across when you're hiking. Who doesn't care if you're a good or bad person? You're either a threat or you're food. There's a lot of indifference in nature that I feel like people don't pay a lot of attention to.
Yeah.
Right.
And that is what I went for. I went for that unsettling, like psychological nature horror.
Yeah, and that kind of that puts you kind of right at the edge sometimes when you get, especially when you get into things that are dark and you get into things that maybe other folks just kind of push away because they either just don't want to admit it about themselves, or it allows them to offer more of themselves than they'd like to. They're just uncomfortable and gets them really out of their comfort zone. So, and it kind of leads to the next question. We kind of touched on it a little bit, but Ostara is a pagan holiday, right?
It is, yes.
And and a lot of, it is what it is, but the States, we really, some parts of it's been embraced. Some parts of it hasn't been embraced correctly. I mean, it's all over the map, so to speak.
Or glossed over.
Right? True. And a lot of folks may not understand. So maybe, and you touched a little bit about the physicality, but what about the spirituality behind the holiday and kind of what it represents?
So we get the word from the Germanic goddess. It's essentially spelled Easter with an extra vowel. And that's where we get the word Easter from as well. Sort of like we got Christmas from pagan equinox tradition, but we don't talk about that either.
No.
Easter wasn't Christian.
I mean, it's true.
We know this, yes.
So, it is to celebrate, light returning. I mean, you have Imbolc first, and then you have Ostara, and then you have Beltane, which is what I like a maypole that I think a lot of people have heard of, and more people celebrate. Beltane is kind of the big party, but Imbolc and Ostara is the actual equinox when day and night are exactly equal, like minute to minute. And I didn't want to focus on the pagan traditions. Like I wanted to leave the religion out of it. So I don't focus on that directly in the stories, but indirectly, I mean, I focus a lot on the balance of light and dark, of nature versus man. And that leads right into what we just spoke about. And there is a lot of horror to be found there.
There is.
Yes.
Yeah.
One of my biggest fears, by the way, with wild animals.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
One of my, yes.
Please.
What movie was that we watched a long time ago and I couldn't watch it? Like, it freaked me out. But they were skiers and they were going up on the lift and they forgot about them and shut it off.
Yeah.
And the wolves come out and you can just imagine what happens.
Yeah. And their idea is, they're all the way.
They're going to jump off
They're going to jump off the ski lift and then go find help. But there's literally wolves circling the whole area. Yeah, it's absolutely petrifying. I don't remember what the name of that is, but you should look it up. It is. I was
going to say, I have not heard of this. I have not seen this.
It's been a very long time.
Yeah, probably about a good 5,
but
maybe more.
But I blocked the name out of my memory.
It's traumatizing. We don't go there.
Right.
Yeah, but we love hiking and stuff, but that's always like one of my biggest fears, like bears, stuff like that. You don't, and it's not their fault. It's their nature.
Yes.
But it's just
primal.
Part of, a
Very
part of
primal.
life that could happen. Yeah.
Yep.
Now,
that indifference.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So thanks for the warning before I read your book.
Yeah.
Anytime.
I'll just read it with the lights on.
That's always a good way to go with horror.
Yes.
For sure. Now, pagan traditions are obviously very important to you, and I know it influences your writing quite a bit. Do you see storytelling as a way of preserving those traditions?
Ooh, you always have the greatest questions.
Thanks.
I think for me, it's less about preserving, at least as I'm doing it, like my pagan perspectives do come through in a lot of my horror stories, through this one and through Ireland as well.
Right.
And for me, it's less there is an amount of preservation in there, but it's more about informing people in an informal way so that you can just read and absorb and you understand that Dia de los Muertos isn't necessarily pagan, but there are pagan elements that overlap a lot. And, talking about the veil and stepping beyond it, what's beyond death, that plays a lot into a lot of the stories that I tell.
Sure.
Yeah.
That's exactly the kind of answer I expected too. That's one of the things whenever, especially when you write horror and especially when you write things, at least from the lens that you're looking at it, you always tell yourself, why is it, what's actually the catalyst behind it? Am I doing this because I just want to do some storytelling and there's some scary stuff with it? That's one thing, and that's all fine and great. There's tons and tons of literature out there that's fantastic, that's perfect for that. And then there are those that, sort of gloss through and kind of take you through a whole, different perspective of things than you look at, especially paganism, and a lot of people don't know it. So, well, at least I should say a lot of people in the U.S. don't know as much about it. It is a way of kind of showing those traditions and in its own right, kind of like a time capsule of preservation of it. So it's really interesting. And that's kind of why I was kind of asking that question. But now in nature, have you ever had moments where your spiritual ideas in the land and life cycles felt very real to you?
Absolutely. Yeah. If I'm going, I hike a lot. And if I go to a place, that is more remote, like you're out there, you're on your own, whether I have my 100-pound lapdog with me or not. He's a great deterrent, by the way. People, bears, doesn't matter. But I have absolutely, you stand at the top of a crest, you're looking down, everything's foggy, and you know that things are watching you.
Yeah.
And you don't know what they are. You're never going to know what is watching you walk by yourself down the trail. And it definitely sends a shiver down your spine.
Yes, it does.
Yeah, it's that agreement you have with nature. It's like, by allowing yourself to be that vulnerable, that there is there is that opportunity. I mean, it's
always there. Yeah.
It's a not a non-zero chance that you may not walk back out of that forest or desert or wherever you're at. But it also, if you don't take that leap of faith and do things, then, you know, you really don't get to explore. You don't get to be part of that connection. And that's, to me, that is probably more important than the risk of, you know, being somebody's meal. By the way, 100-pound lap dog. How does 100 pounds become a lap dog?
We had one of those, though. We know how it works.
It's all my fault, and I'm not sorry. He's a Catahoula leopard. I'm looking to my side because he's napping right next to me.
Well, we've got ours napping around here
one,
too.
Yeah.
You know, they're not.
You have a little one? What do you have?
I've got two. We've got
a mini Australian Shepherd. So he's about 25 pounds. And the other one, she's mixed with Australian Shepherd and Husky. So she's got half and half.
But she's got the husky attitude.
Yeah, yes. Yeah. She's small, spicy, though. Yeah, she's not big. She's small.
Feisty.
She's got the husky mouth on her. We'll say that.
Good for her. Sorry for you.
It's okay. It is what it is.
Both full of energy, though. Very, very energy-filled dogs. But we used to have a black lab, and we think he was mixed with Irish Wolfhound, and he got to be about 100, what was it, 110?
115, something like that. Yeah.
He got really big, and he had the scruff on his face, but he had like the lab face, so he was a cute boy. Yeah.
That sounds fantastic.
Gentle giant.
Yeah, he was a gentle giant. I miss him every day, but...
and he'd always crawl and try to get up on our lap, you know, because he thought he was like 15 pounds.
Yeah.
And every time he would actually end up on my lap, I was really quickly reminded how heavy he actually is.
Yep.
The elbows.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, in the wrong places. So getting back to the book.
Right.
One of the stories in the book is called Rootbound. Okay. Yes. And it involves a woman inheriting her. Let me try that again. I'm going to do it. I promise it'll come out okay.
Okay.
It's great.
It involves a woman inheriting her family home and discovering what happens when you don't tend to the land, which that is not always necessarily great. But what inspired that idea?
We got her again.
You did. You guys are great at this. Apparently poor at this.
No, you're good.
So Marrow was inspired by a friend that I actually had in college. I went to college in the middle of nowhere, North Carolina. And if you sit me next to someone Southern, I twang. But she came from a commune. And so her entire half of her life was gardening. We went to school and then she went home to tend the garden. And that's always stuck with me, like as a lifestyle, like that's kind of intense. For most of us in America, like we don't do that unless you're actively a farmer.
Right.
And then getting into a spring horror collection, I wondered what the next step would be. Like, what if she didn't plant? And I said the story of in Norway, they have very harsh winters. They have very intense, wet, soggy springs, like various places along the U.S., but it's higher altitude over there. And they have a cultural history that ties much deeper into the land than I feel like we do in America. Like we're only a couple hundred years old. Right. We always forget that.
Yeah.
And they've got centuries and centuries, thousands of years of possibly tending the same gardens, the same families, the same small towns. And I don't know if you guys, when you were traveling, I'm sure you saw some or went through some small towns that gave you a weird vibe.
Many.
Yeah. So it was a couple of those unsettling experiences, being in a creepy town where, you don't understand maybe the signage and you have no idea what's actually going on and what they're burning in that bonfire over there. And you're not sure if you want to know.
Yes. We passed by a few of those in the States, so we understand that. Yes.
Yeah. I mean, not just in Ireland and not just abroad, but during some of our travels. I mean, if you go to honestly, if you do a lot of what we do with paranormal investigations, you find that you're not like in the middle of downtown
usually
New York
not
City.
in a big city.
You're like in the middle of nowheresville where there's, if you're lucky, there's an actual street light and it's not just a stop sign.
Oh, you got a street light?
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Which there's nothing wrong with that. It's just you find yourself like, okay, there's a very
unsettling
feeling. But.
Yeah, it's very different. And creepy and unsettling. And Mara goes back to her hometown. She can't remember some of her childhood, but her grandmother had passed and she inherited her grandmother's cottage. Gets to town and there are things in the house. She goes to sleep that first night, not knowing, trying to convince herself it's raccoons. Spoiler alert, it is not raccoons.
Somehow I had a feeling that was going to be the answer. So you mentioned Norway. And also in the book you have, and I hope I pronounce this right. Is it Sami folklore?
Yes.
Okay. So you talk about that, and that's the belief where, that everything living has a spirit, which is something we absolutely believe.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But
I do as well.
Yeah. And that's honestly, I think that's the biggest takeaway from that folklore. But, can you explain that tradition in just a little bit of that tradition with our listeners? I don't know if they fully can grasp that yet.
Beyond what you've just said?
Well,
I don't want to speak on it only because I'm certainly not an expert.
Sure.
And I don't know, I don't want to say the wrong thing.
Okay.
So beyond
that's fair.
what my research that was involved in this book, I don't want to overstep culturally.
No, I understand that completely.
But I absolutely believe that everything, conscious does have a spirit. Mm-hmm. I mean, every child who's seen Pocahontas understands, at least, I think, the concept.
I think that's where it all began for most of us of our age group is Pocahontas. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's funny, too.
I think it was for me.
When we
at
were
least with the trees.
Yeah. We were in Ireland and we were at Blackwater Castle. And we were in this really nice, well, I'll be honest with you, it was incredibly haunted part of the castle that we're sleeping in. And out of nowhere, coming up the wall is this spider. It's an enormous spider. And at first, my first is like, I completely wanted to run away. But honestly, it's something that I've come to be a little bit more receptive to. But Logan many, many years ago would have probably done what unfortunately a lot of people do and just kill it out of sight, out of mind. And I've cousin Nicole, I've started to change. So what she did is she went up there and we got a cup and we put it in the cup. The whole time I'm thinking this thing's legs are going to wrap right around and grab my finger and just run up my arm.
It was like as big as my hand.
It was huge. You should write horror.
It was huge. It was absolutely huge. Mm-hmm. But she put it in a cup, went outside and let it go. But yeah, it was big.
Like just because you're scared of it doesn't mean it deserves to die. So I went 3 flights of stairs down to get the cup, 3 flights back up to get the spider, and 3 flights back down to release it. Yeah. So I got my steps in.
Yeah, I'm a combat veteran who literally would stand on the chair while my wife gladly goes downstairs and listen. I know what I am. Broom. Yeah, I know what I am. Good. But there's a phrase that you tease that I do find exceptionally cool and I do love it. But the root people are coming. What are the root people? So
the root people are essentially what happens when you don't plant. So Mara, do you mind if I give spoilers?
It's absolutely. Fantastic. If you want to, sure.
If you're okay with it.
Yeah. Yep.
I am. Okay. It's because I enjoyed this story. There is a handful in this story and also in Osedax. There is a handful of what I would consider body horror, and it's flat out disturbing. During writing this one, Rootbound and Osedax, I had to take a break like multiple times. But so Mara winds up not planting. She wants to get rid of the house. She wants to sell. The town's like, well, why don't you just stay? Your family's been here for generations. Here's a bag of seeds. Just tend the garden. Just all you got to do is plant. She gets weirded out because the soil is moving and breathing and there's something underneath. And so she just tosses the seeds outside, and the village knows. And Mara learns of it when she's saying hello to a little village girl playing with her stick dolls. And the little girl tells her that the trees are talking about her. They know that she didn't plant in the garden. And everything that happens after that is because Mara was too afraid to plant. And she goes through a very graphic ordeal, and she actually winds up becoming one of these root people.
Oh, wow.
So interesting.
Hey, I got to read this shit now.
I know. I'm so excited.
I had a good time with it.
Yeah, that's wild. How is this not a movie? That's so cool.
Maybe someday.
Maybe someday.
Yeah.
We'll get there.
We're going to get to
A24
Osedax.
films.
Right? Yeah. We'll get to Osedax here in a minute, but because of that, I'm curious. Do you think modern society has lost its connection with spirit of nature?
Absolutely. Yes.
Agreed.
Hard yes.
Yeah.
Obviously, there are individuals and there are smaller groups of people, but like as a society, especially America as a culture, any huge cities, you're lucky if you get, 5 trees on a city block.
Yeah.
And
Or
I don't like
what
it.
a tree is.
It makes me itchy. I'm very uncomfortable. Like I can do cities. I love cities. Nothing against them in general, other than the fact that they are completely removed from nature.
Yes.
Yeah. I grew up in a town. I mean, Town's a pretty big city by most parts, but Tucson, Arizona. And
Yes.
one of the things about Tucson that I find, I guess I never knew how different it was. They are very calculated about how a building goes up, what it looks like, what color it can be painted, and it has to somewhat match the desert landscape. And this is most of the new stuff, newer construction, because they want to keep that same like spirit of nature within the desert and everything. And they're very, very cognizant of that. So it's just, it is interesting because as I left and then we moved to San Diego, which was not like that.
That's very different.
It's very, very different. I just always thought that was what people did in the city. I didn't know that that was something unique. So it's, yeah, it's interesting. I'm glad you mentioned that, but Osedax. Now this is interesting because I'm going to want some responses on this, but it involves connecting with something called worm moon.
Yes.
For people like myself and I'm sure Nicole, what exactly is worm moon?
So if there are 12, sometimes a blue moon, so 13 full moons a year, every one of those has an old name, a pagan name, a Native American name. Then they use that as markers of time, before we all bought calendars. And March's full moon is the full worm moon. Now, it was just last night. And this year's, because it was also an eclipse, it was a blood worm moon. And I don't know if you guys have ever seen a bloodworm.
No.
They are the definition of a horror movie. They are one of the only worms, I believe, that are actually venomous. They have an internal mouth that shoots out.
What?
They have teeth. It's a worm with teeth. It
sounds like the sandworm from
it's like
wild.
Alien. You remember an Alien?
Yes,
She would open it, it's like
very
but like
similar.
the sandworm, remember? It would come out.
Yeah, you're
with
right.
The
It
teeth.
did do that.
Yeah.
That's not bone chilling at all.
Yikes.
Perfect.
Yeah,
I felt like it worked really well.
Yeah.
I'm almost afraid I asked that question.
Confirmation for her.
So the title Osedax refers to real bone-eating worms found in the ocean.
Yes.
You can tell I'm reading this because I didn't know it. But how did that concept evolve into a horror story? And I can already tell, but just, humor me.
So the reason that the March full moon is called the worm moon is because that's when worms start to resurface. They start to breed. They come up out of the ground again. And knowing that, now I'd written this last year, but knowing that, I wondered about a full worm resurgence. And what if all of the worms came up at once? Yeah. And so I did a whole lot of research. I learned way too much about worms. I didn't sleep for a week. And Osedax are a type of polycate or oceanic worm. And they are technically only found in deep sea, so you're fine to go to the beach. But the name in Latin literally means bone devourer.
Wow.
And yep. And
I did not know about these.
I was like, that's it. That's my one. That's the one.
Yeah.
What is it about worms, though? I mean, it's weird because it's like you think about snake, but snakes, a lot of people are scared of snakes and they find what it is.
Yeah.
But a lot of people are kind of freaked out about worms.
Because they're slimy, and anything that's slimy, people have a problem with.
Yeah. What do you think, Kasey? Like, what do you think that like instinctive fear is with worms?
So for me, I mean, it is the external mucosal glands, which is gross. But also for me, any invertebrate, like the way that they move is like sinister and so unhuman that I think it hits us somewhere deep.
Yeah, hits the ick factor.
Yeah.
Yes.
When you said move, it immediately made me think about that kind of like the inching kind of it is. And some of it's like really like off-putting. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, and it's not cute like an inchworm. Like they're doing their thing across the leaf. It's cute. You know, that's what they make children's books about.
Exactly.
No, this is not that. Have you guys ever seen a den of worms?
No, but that's terrifying.
But that sounds like a nightmare.
Exactly. Yes, I've done it.
Wait a minute. You're telling me there's a den of worms?
Yes, some worms do den. And
that's freaking crazy.
Like a ball of worms, basically.
It's rough.
Yeah, I'm out.
I recently did a reel on Instagram, and it had just a short clip of a small worm den. And a lot of people were unhappy with the reel. Like a lot of my readers were like, stop this right now. It's like, I'm sorry.
But they know. Come on. I mean, it's like, come on.
No, they know my page.
Gosh.
But Osedax was definitely one where I had to take breathers as well. Not just because of that ick factor, although some of it was rough. But there's such a strong sense of inevitability throughout the whole thing. Like nature is coming for you, full stop. And it's not wearing a mask, and it doesn't come with theme music. And it's how do you respond? And then based off of how you respond, are you going to survive? And I don't think that a lot of people would.
No. They wouldn't.
No.
And this is going to be a bit dark for me.
What you got?
So worms have always meant for me, like, I don't want to be buried. I want to be cremated because the thought of worms eating me, like eating my carcass. Now I know it's not me. It's just a shell of me. All those sort of things. Fine. There's just something about the idea of that I don't know. I have a very difficult time with. And I think
a lot of people do.
Yeah. It's just, first of all, for my culture, cremation's perfectly fine. In fact, most generations did it. It's just, I guess I couldn't see myself getting buried. So good luck with that.
Or good luck with that for me. We don't know who's going first.
That's true. So
this is taking a very dark turn.
It did.
That's okay.
Yeah.
We started off dark. It's fine. I live in the gray. It's all right.
Oh, we're always in the gray. That's where we make our milieu, if you will. If that's right.
Good word.
Anyway, I try. So another story in the collection is Marrowseed. Can you explain that a little bit for us?
Yes. Marrowseed. I had a lot of fun with it. I think it is the most visually striking of the stories. And that might be the only one where most of them survive. So Marrowseed, a man is washed up. He got broken up with. He's got his heart broken. The words aren't coming. He is a writer, and he's been staring at a blank screen for 6-8 months. And he learns about this retreat. It's a month-long retreat, go someplace and essentially watch what is dead bloom and come back to life. And it is this group of individuals who are so longing or grieving or need a fresh start in life. And it's what they're willing to give up to the garden, to the heart root, in order to make their dreams come true. And it's so you're on this journey in this house full of people. And at one point, the main character compares it more to a psych ward than a retreat. So it goes along all 4 weeks, and each week gets more disturbing. And the garden grows stronger and stronger.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
I had fun with that.
Yeah, I mean, especially being a writer and writing about another writer.
Uh-huh.
You know,
sometimes that's a little on the nose. It's very difficult.
Sure.
But I tried to keep it divorced from my writing life.
Yeah.
Now, that's called the Orchard House, right? If I remember with
the retreat was, yes.
Right.
Okay.
Now, what can you tell us about, I guess, I'm looking at some of the notes I have here. There's the force behind the strange deal.
Yeah.
I love her smiles every time you mention something. She's like, ooh, I'm going to get him with this one.
So this one does circle back around to paganism and being in touch with nature. And it references, the original Green Witch. And in the story, there is the caretaker of Orchard House, who's Amara. And she winds up being very deeply connected to the grounds. And she is sort of guiding everyone at the retreat on their journey to find what it is they need, what it is they're missing, what they're willing to let go to get those things. And Amara was difficult. Amara was part of the garden. The garden was part of her. You're never, as a reader, actually sure what happens to her at the end. I would like to leave that as a little bit of a mystery.
Yeah.
Sure.
But it does circle right back around to how humans interact with the land, what we ask of it, what it asks of us.
Okay.
Perfect.
Our relationship with it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
It's funny you mention bargains, and I think about bargains and wishes. A lot of the times when you deal with stories that have bargains and wishes, it never really seems to go the way it's supposed to go. There's always something like a horrible cost involved, or there's definitely there's a yin and a yang for it without a doubt. But why do you think humans, why do you think readers are so drawn to making deals with unknown forces?
It's the old adage, be careful what you wish for is what you were just encapsulating there. And I think that over the centuries, making bargains and deals, which is such a huge part of horror, or anything paranormal, it has become such a huge niche. Because people, we always desire things, all of us. We want something better. Grass is always greener. Enter other cliche over here. And if there was an easy way to get it, I think most of us would take it. So I think that is very innate to most people. And the problem with that is that, first off, with paranormal, you don't have any idea what you're doing. Most of us.
Right.
I don't know what happens when we die. There's what I think happens. There's what I hope happens. But I don't actually know. I'm not going to try to make a deal with death. Certainly not. And I feel like the cautionary tale that has evolved over the centuries has become such a huge staple in horror and those making deals.
Absolutely. And it's funny because you you touched on something I wanted to ask, and
Yes.
I know my answer would be, but probably be at a terrible cost. But if somebody offered you a chance to make all your dreams come true, but you did not know what cost that was going to be, would you take it?
No.
That's
Nope.
tough, because I know a lot of people that wouldn't say that.
I am such a nerd that I read far too much, and I have studied philosophy a decent extent. I believe a lot in philosophy. And part of that is accepting, or at least acknowledging, that the journey and the experience is often worth a lot more than crossing the finish line.
100%.
For
I
me,
agree with you.
at
Yes.
least.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And it's funny because I would have always thought my answer would be yes too, but only within the last, well, it's true. And I'll be honest, because probably within the last 5 to 10 years, I've been through some pretty rough waters. We've been through some pretty rough waters.
Okay.
And maybe that's part of the journey, is I realized that the end goal, however much you know, obviously we're in a consumerist environment. All we do is consume. That's what we do. Nothing really changes. Even if you live the most cleanest, most serene life, you're still going to consume something. But it's how I choose to go through that, and what journey I take. Because we all know the end's the worm's coming. The worms are coming for me, one way or another.
They are.
But it's just that journey, and in the end, and I don't really give a shit anymore what I obtain in life. If I get a lot of great things, fantastic. If I don't, that kind of sucks, but it's okay. We'll just keep moving on. And it's just that bargaining that I think you're going to capture so well in that you say, okay, well, if I could only have this, then I would do that. Or if I had this, my life would be so much more, palatable, and we can live better. Well, the truth is, you don't know that. In fact, you could get everything you want and realize that none of it fulfilled your life, and you're now much more emptier for it.
Yes. Yeah. And I think that
the goalpost always moves.
Yeah.
It does.
It does. You get what you want, and then there's always something else. So
yeah, it happens a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I really enjoyed taking the main character through that in Marrowseed. Because I mean, he does learn. It takes a lot. It takes a lot of horrifying scenery, but.
And I totally understand that, because for me, it took a brain bleed and cancer.
Okay, that'll do it.
That'll do it. That'll bring you right back down to
hard times. Usually do.
Yeah, they do. So your stories, and I know I may have asked you this the first time you're on the show.
Okay.
You bend a lot of horror, folklore, and psychological tension, right? And you're very good at that. And that's, yeah, of course. But what scares you the most when writing?
Specifically when writing. I think the most difficult thing in being a writer, and the most terrifying thing, is not being understood. Now, whenever I'm asked the question, if there was one superpower on Earth you could have, what would it be? Other than flying, it would be to understand every language in existence so that I could understand. I firmly believe that if you have good timing and the right words in the right order, you can do pretty much anything when it comes to humans specifically. And so I think for a writer, I think I'm pretty good at having good words. I think I'm pretty good at putting them in the right order. My timing I'm working on. But I think for a writer, the greatest fear is to put everything that you have into this work and for no one to get it. No one. Like not even your mother.
Yeah.
We
I think
identify with that a bit.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Any creative pursuit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think
the
that's
creative
the most
process
terrifying
is
thing.
well, because it's very vulnerable. I mean, you're right. You put yourself out there.
Your heart and soul goes into it.
Right. You are exposed to many, many different people. And I think that you're right. That's very terrifying. Speaking of other creators that do that on a massive level, I always say to myself, what is it that you can handle? I mean, you got to be so resilient to be able to handle some of that pushback. Yeah. And you're right. It is very difficult in the creative process. So it's putting yourself in a very precarious position. So I completely understand and empathize with that fear. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But when you sit down to write, okay, so you've got an idea, you know what you want to do. Do you start with folklore and build a story around it? Or do you start with like the horror concept first?
I would say I start with the most horrifying part of the story first. What is the fear here? Humans only have maybe X amount of fears. We have so many phobias, but at the bottom of that, we have maybe 8 or 10 base fears. And I think most of us fall under some category of dying. And whatever it is that I'm trying to convey throughout the story, whatever characters I wind up with, whatever they have to go through to get through the horror or not make it through the horror, I start with the fear first. And then when it comes to actually writing, I start with the intro.
Okay. Yeah.
Good place to start.
It's a good place to start.
Sorry, I had to lighten it up.
And gone, no, that's perfect. I was like, I was right there with you. Have you ever written something though and gone and like you put it down and go, okay, this might actually be way too disturbing. I think we got to stop, or you go like, okay, this needs to go a different direction.
Yes. Actually, Rootbound started out that way. And I had to go back to the drawing board, I think twice. I overhauled that story twice and to make it palatable. That was a rough one.
So when we read it, we can think this could have been worse.
Yes.
That's literally what
I'm going to tell myself.
Yeah. I'm going to write you an email and be like, well, that could have been worse.
I mean, it could have been so much worse. I mean, as long as you don't email me with it could have been better, then I'm good.
Oh, no. No, not at all. I honestly, to tell you the truth, I look forward to this. There's a lot of things that I find very compelling in what you're doing. And I know Nicole feels the same way, especially when it comes to the nature. Yeah, absolutely. When it comes to nature and the land, and obviously having the knowledge of paganism and having all these different things, we feel very connected to that. It's something that we take very seriously. And even as like paranormal investigators, we kind of talk about like, let's take like Waverly Hills, for example. You go into a place like that and you go, well, there's a spirit in this place. We know that. Okay, yes, there are ghosts, granted, but the land itself, what it currently sits on, we often feel like it has its own consciousness. Do you believe that land can hold memory? Absolutely.
Yes. That's actually, it's interesting that you say that. Another story of mine, not in this collection, in a future Terror Triptych, actually has to do with exactly that. And that the memories, the tragedies, anything that happens on the land crystallizes and goes underground. And it's about what happens when people are able to access that. There's a lot that goes into it, but I absolutely believe that places, that land can hang on to energy, memories. Yeah, especially when it's something disturbing.
Yeah, yes. Absolutely. I couldn't agree more, especially with a place like that where
I think of like Gettysburg or something like that.
Right. And you think
I can't do Gettysburg.
Oh yeah, that's another. I've been there, and it was another. It was a rough one. It's like I believe at least, and I won't 100% speak for Nicole because she may or may not, but I think she does. We believe in the stone tape theory, and I don't know how familiar you are with that.
I am not.
We're like things like quartz and different stones limestone can hold memory, can actually almost like a tape recorder. Okay. And we think that that's a very what your ghosts are is that energy trapped in the stones.
Yeah, right. I mean everything is energy. The building.
Absolutely. Yeah. Same with running water.
Especially those old buildings, were built a lot out of limestone and quartz, or at least the foundation was. So that's why it's haunted. It's because it's holding all this energy.
Yeah, for sure.
Granite as well, I think.
Yes, granite for sure too. Well. Quartz is kind of your bigger, everybody kind of knows that one. But yeah, there's actually quite a few. Limestone's another really big one. Limestone for sure. So kind of moving to something I've been curious about, because you talk about horror a lot, and I know Nicole's not a huge horror film fan.
No.
Well, she likes psychological horror, but I don't think she likes...
I like scary. I don't like bloody slasher. That's what
gore.
I don't like.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Gore.
Yes.
Yeah. But how about you? What was your favorite scary movie growing up?
So the first, I'm going to call it a horror movie that I ever saw was Interview with a Vampire.
Yeah.
And I was 3 or 4.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, I should.
That's young.
And I remember going to sleep that night. Eventually, I fell asleep. And that's the first nightmare. To this day, I remember every moment of the first nightmare I ever had. And it was after watching that when I was 3 or 4.
That would do it. That would definitely do it.
It stuck. It stuck for sure.
So being an old freaking man that I am, the first movie I remember watching that scared the crap out of me was a movie called Ghost Story. It's an old 80s movie.
I don't know that one.
Yeah. So unfortunately, fortunately and unfortunately, my dad was a huge horror film fanatic. In fact, one of my favorite memories, Nicole knows exactly what I'm going to say.
I do.
My mom and my dad went to the drive-in thinking I was just going to fall asleep in the back of the car, and they watched The Exorcist. And there was a moment where I woke up, and we're talking, I'll tell you how old I am. I'm 52 this year, but there was in the old drive-thrus, they had the speakers that would come in, right? And you just kind of hang it on your door, and it was horrible. It was cracky. It was not the greatest experience, but I guess at some point I kind of woke up and I could hear all this stuff, and I'm literally kind of doing this thing. And I know people listening don't know what I'm doing, but I'm in the back seat and I'm kind of peeking my head up, and my mom and my dad are in the front seat watching this episode or this film. And it's the part where she sticks her tongue out and goes, la, 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 la. I don't know if you're familiar with it or not. And I won't do that again because I only do one performance a night. But
thank you. Yeah. Thank you for all of us.
But my parents, I guess I just looked at it and I emulated it. I went, blah, 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 and they screamed so loud that you can hear every car next to them absolutely scream in terror. But yeah, that was kind of my first.
It's probably your last drive-in.
Yeah.
They took you to.
They didn't take you anymore, huh?
No, it was usually like Star Wars or things like that afterwards. They knew that I would wake up at some point, but oh man. So honestly, I mean, I know you do a lot of things where you get to go out and experience these different things, but like, what's the creepiest place you've ever visited?
I know that you just mentioned it a minute ago, but probably Gettysburg.
Yeah.
I didn't want to get out of the car. I had like a full weekend planned with friends from Pennsylvania. They drove south. I drove west. Everything was great. Yeah, everything was not great. I drove through it. And then I met up with them for coffee. And I did not go back to Gettysburg. I don't like the air. I don't know how else to say it. I absolutely cannot do Gettysburg.
There's an electricity there. There's something and I only got to spend like half a day there or something. I kind of went through way too quickly, and I wish I hadn't. But there's something about getting out of the car and you're walking in some places where you just feel kind of like you were talking about going through the woods. You know you're being watched. Somebody's judging you. There is something. You're never alone. It's a constant fight of, is that a person over there, or are they in period dress, or what the hell's actually going on here? I'm just going to get back my rental and drive back home. But yeah, it is very frightening.
Yeah, I haven't been there yet, so
I'm hoping to change that.
It.
Yeah, absolutely.
You should go. Because you actively go to those places on purpose. Right. I'm willing to go through those places and do the short tours.
Yep.
And then go home.
Don't do Antietam.
You can wave. You can drive by and wave at us while we're there.
Just hit the horn. Like,
hey guys.
If you've never been to Antietam, that was very similar too, by the way.
I have not.
It was pretty rough. Kind of getting towards the end here. I'm curious. Favorite horror creature? Ghost, witch, monster? What's your favorite?
Probably not vampire.
It's not a vampire.
Yeah.
Sparkles or no?
I guess.
No. I would have to say I don't know if you want to narrow it down to ghost specifically, but things beyond the veil.
Okay.
Something else that can come through from the other side, not us going, something else coming back or reaching through is probably, I don't know if I want to say favorite, but probably my go-to when I think of something paranormal. Immediately, that's where my brain goes.
I think the same for me, because a monster, I mean, you can usually see that there's something, depending on what it is, you can kind of explain some of that away. Well, it was this, or there was some, whatever. There's something with monsters that are, while scary, I'm not saying they're not, I can deal with that better. And even like vampires, but there's something about that ethereal plane that, because none of us have any freaking clue what's actually going to happen or what's on the other side. There are a lot of people that come close and that can at least touch the other side in some way, but nobody knows for sure until you know, so it's
until you're there,
you're there. Someday you'll know, but yeah, that's the one that kind of gets me for sure.
Agreed. Yeah. Agreed.
So kind of in closing, what is the one thing that you would like readers and our audience to take away from Terror Triptych Ostara? Or what would you hope that would be?
I think overall it's a respect of nature and a respect of the balance that I feel like we have lost as a world of people everywhere and cities, and thinking that we are at the top of the food chain. We are not. We're just a little bit more clever for the moment.
For the moment, yeah.
And I would want people to think really hard about what they're digging up, about what they're planting, about what else is in the ocean with them. Just give it a second thought. Maybe the blood pressure could go up for a minute.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love that answer.
Yeah, well said.
Yeah, very well said.
I knew you'd love it for sure. That's awesome. Well, Kasey, where can our listeners, our audience, where can they find you? Tell us all the places, all the cool things.
Where can they buy the book?
Yeah, where can they buy the book?
So I am largely on Instagram, the Author Fallon website, and then I'm also on Goodreads a surprising amount, because being a writer, I read a terrifying amount of books. And as far as A Terror Triptych, they are all on Amazon and also on Kindle Unlimited. So anyone who has a subscription gets the book for free.
Awesome.
Yeah. I know that ARCs are available still for the next 2 weeks leading up to the release on Book Sirens and on Book Funnel as well.
Okay. Great.
That's awesome.
Great.
Well,
and it comes out March 20th.
March 20th. Happy
Correct.
spring.
Happy spring.
Yes.
I look forward to it.
Yeah.
Well, Kasey Fallon, thank you so much for being on.
Thank you so much for coming back.
Thank you.
Maybe we'll have you back for the 4th time, 5th time, whichever one.
Yeah, because I'm looking forward to that next one you were talking about with the earth and
the memory.
Yeah, we're down for that big time.
You
That's
gotta
a
come back and
Terror
talk to
Triptych
us.
Extraño.
We're there.
Okay. Yeah.
We're there.
We gotta have you back. You gotta tell us about that one.
I will be here.
All
Again,
right.
well, thank you so much.
Thank
And
you
we look forward to
guys.
talking to you soon.
Yeah, absolutely. You guys have a good night.
You too.
Thanks. Take care.
You too. Hey, thanks, Kasey.
Thank you so much, Kasey.
She's always fun to have on.
I know. I enjoy talking to her.
Yeah, her books, in case you guys hadn't noticed, I mean, there's some pretty fun stuff in there.
I know. I'm excited to read this one.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be really, really good. And everything she does is good. So, yeah, I'm looking forward. I may leave the lights on
Yeah. Well, it's funny
for this one and may not read it too late.
I'm curious because usually you like to read when, we're in bed and I've fallen asleep and you've got this little light on.
My little light, yeah.
I don't think you're going to be doing that with this one.
Maybe not. This might be I go in the other room with the bright light on.
Yeah. But no, that was awesome. Thank you so much for coming on. We can't wait to read it. And honestly, I can't wait for that new one too that she was talking about.
I know.
Yeah, that's going to be a good time.
It is going to be a good one. Yeah. But since this episode is coming out on Wednesday the 18th, her book is 2 days away.
2 days, guys.
So you got 2 days. You can go ahead and look it up and get ready to order. And I think pre-order is already out right now. So we got all the links up. So make sure and order it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Get into it. It's perfect time of year to read it.
Yeah, I think it's one of those good sit down with a cup of coffee or tea or whatever you drink and enjoy scaring the crap out of yourself.
Yeah. While you put in your garden and you see a little worm or a garden worm, you can think about all the things in the book.
That worm thing's kind of got me.
I immediately thought of the sandworm when she said that.
Did you?
Yeah, from Beetlejuice.
That's funny because you're right. That's exactly.
It came out with the teeth. Mm-hmm.
But the snapping thing, I started thinking immediately of Alien when, because that beast kind of just.
Well, I don't know. I don't like Alien, so
I
don't watch that stuff.
That's okay.
But anyway, so thank you, Kasey, very much. But we will be back next week. Mm-hmm. We've got another Shadows of Ireland episode.
That's right.
And this one has to do with one of my favorite locations we went to. I was really excited to do this one, and it has to do with stones. That's all I'm going to say.
I had a very interesting thing that happened to me there.
Yeah, so we're going to get into that and tune in next week for that one.
See you guys next week.
Thank you guys, and see you next week.